Yesterday, I have published a new color of videos in the playlist and the color is white. So those videos I will publish when I do make modifications to the project, but don't feel like I just want to record it and voice over everything, do the editing, etc, etc. So what I do, I just record and keep those in those sort of, yeah, video archives. I don't know. Call it however you want. So this will come, you don't necessarily have to watch this. It's more if you want to see what happened between there and there. Yeah, that's it. So anyway, the thing is that in this video I used a keyboard sound effect when I'm typing, and actually I gotta say that I really enjoy having this keyboard sound in my earphones when I'm doing that. So I will try for this episode just to add it to see if you guys do enjoy it, and if you don't, then I will remove it, right? Because I can't have it on my own without having it in the video. Anyway, you'll tell me if you do like that or not. Anyway, for this episode we will look at creating items and random items. So far, the idleons we have created are stored within a single integer value, which is increasing or decreasing when the idleon value is changing. So each idleon is not individual from any other. It doesn't matter which one we are deleting or adding to the pile. It's just a big pile of idleons. But for the next features of the game, what I want to show you is how we can create items which are individual items and items which can have individual random statistics, properties. So this is what we will be doing today. We will do the groundwork to see how we can create one and do the very basic thing to visualize those, because when we create items in the code, it's actually important to be able to visualize it on the screen. And very often we do have very clear images of systems to manage inventories and items and stuff, but there are so many, I don't want to say hidden, but implicit features in those inventory inspectors, so that if you do want to make it on your own, there's just so many things to do. So we'll take it step by step and start with the very simplest visualizer that I can think of. So the very first thing that I will do is create a new data structure or a model. And I think I will create an items folder so that in there we can have a script which I will name crystal. So if you didn't notice yet, or if you didn't catch that, because I do talk a lot, but that was mostly on Discord, I believe. This game's gonna be about crystals. So this is gonna be a crystal resource. I want to specify in the name that it is an extension of the resource keyword class. But at the moment, what I will do is just create some crystals with random idleon value. Okay, so that when you sell the crystal, you have a random value of it. So here I will just, I don't need to export the variable in opposition to the data save class, because this doesn't need to be written on the script. So here we'll just create a variable value, for example. That's going to be an integer which is not initialized. So what we can do from there is just leave it like this and make the random generation somewhere else, which can make sense, that's possible. But at the moment, I will use the constructor. So I think we didn't talk that much about constructor, maybe we did, but I will talk about it very quickly. The constructor is the method that is called when an item, an object is being created, a class is being instantiated in an object, as an object, then we call the constructor. So here what we will do is just have this value to be equal to a random integer by using the random methods from Godot, and we will have a value between 5 and 25. So when this item is created, the value will be set in the constructor. So this is our data model for the crystal. And now that it exists within the code, we can create it. So I'll create a new scene. So that's going to be third scene. Let's go with third. No, wait. Do we have 3? No, I don't think so. Scenes, second. Okay, that's right. So third. So in there, I will just create a button, simple button, that I will position at the bottom left. Okay. So I will use the same size as usual, 320, 80, and that will be create crystal. Okay. Because I don't want this button to be sticking to the edges of the screen, I will just create a margin container. So I know we didn't talk about user interface and containers yet, but yeah, if you do want to replicate this very simple behavior, that's how you do it. Create a margin container, put the button inside it, and then you go in the theme overrides of your container and you say that you want 16 pixels margin on each side. Okay. So here is our button. Okay, so now we will only take care of creating the crystal. So let's create a script here. Okay. I will name it. Okay, so we do have the button and we do have the model of the crystal. So all we have to do at the moment is create a method to receive the button. So here we will have on button pressed. Okay, so we can start by actually connecting this button. So here let's make the button unique and connect it. So we get the press signal that we do connect on the on method. So now we will create a method that will create that crystal. So let's have this create crystal method. Create crystal. And we can bind right away that method so that we don't forget that later. So here we can create a new crystal, right? So we can have this variable crystal type crystal resource, and we want that to be a crystal resource dot new. This is how we create a new instance. So here we just created this new instance, right? But we do want to save it somewhere, and we're going to create a list where we will be storing all the crystals we have created. So in the properties of my class, I will create a variable crystals with an S, and this is going to be a list of crystal resource. Okay, so this is a new type we haven't used yet, which is an array. So in there, it is a list that we can add items to, and here we are saying that we are only going to add crystal resource to this list. So by default, we're going to initialize it to be empty. Okay, so you're going to notice that we use brackets to work with lists, arrays, and we're going to keep it like this. So here, this crystal that we have created, we can add it to our list. So you can go check the different methods available for the lists, but I'm going to tell you that right now we're going to use the list, we're going to use the method append, and we're going to add the element we want to add to the list, which is a new crystal. Okay, and then yes, we're going to leave it like this. So Technically, when we click on the button, we do add crystals to the list. So we do need to have a way to visualize what is in this list. So we have different ways to do that. So we can try to print the list. So here we're going to print crystals, but it's going to be a little bit weird. Here, as we click on the button, we notice that we do print the list, but we have the references of the objects within that list, which is correct. That's what's in the list. But that's not really what we want to see. What we want to see is what is the value of the crystal inside of it. So we will need to create a method that will allow us to display what's in the list. So here, let's get rid of that print. And right away, I will just go in my button settings to remove the focus. There we go. Focus to none. So, what I will do, instead of going with a print, I will use a label. So here, I'm just gonna add to my scene a label, which I will set to center left, okay? And that's going to be, yes, I'm just gonna leave it like this at the moment. And I will grab it. So here on ready, we have the label equal to our label. So we do have a label to display the crystals we have created. Now we do need to create a method that will update this label. So here we will have update label. So what we want to do is to add every element of the list to that label so it can display what is contained in the list. So we will create a variable text as a string, and at the moment it's going to be empty. Then what we will do is that for each element in the list, we will add a new line. So in order to loop on all the elements of a list, we do use the for keyword. So here we're going to use the for. There's a simple format which is defining the element that we are viewing. It's a little bit complicated if you have never worked with for loops before, but I will probably make another video about that, or you can try to go fetch information on that. It's very basic stuff. So for crystals, for a crystal in the list crystals, we will add to the text the value. Okay, so here we'll have value, semicolon, and then its value. Its value equal to the crystal dot value. So this is just gonna add all the informations one in front of the other on the same line. So if we do want new lines to be created, we're gonna have this counter slash n, basically, to say that we want to create a new line. So every crystal in a list, we will add some text and some lines to the text, and then we will be able to say that the label dot text is going to be equal to text. Okay, so now we can, update the label when we create a new crystal and see how this is going. So we open that, and here's our scene. So we have a crystal worth 24, 6, 12, 16, 17, etc., etc. So here we are able to create crystals and visualize how much they are worth. But we can't do anything with that yet, because we do need to have inventory inspectors with more features and etc., etc. That will be for another episode. So I hope this little introduction on how to make items is useful, and we will keep working on that in the next episode. So I will see you there. You take care.